Should try it again. What is up, people of the internet? My name is David. Some people know me as Evil Taurus on TikTok, but only like 600 people do, so I don't assume that you're one of them. But thank you so much for watching this video. I don't really know what this is yet, but I just know that I'm called by a higher power to make this. Actually, the universe spoke to me in a dream, and it was like, we need another man to get on the internet with a microphone and give his opinion. So I just do what I am told by a higher divine power. So that is what this is. A little introduction about myself. I am 24 years old. I am currently a grad student living in the Bay Area, the Yay area, if you ask me. I am finishing up my last year of grad school and thinking about going into the journalism field. Well, I am in grad school getting a journalism degree. That's what I'm doing here in front of you now. Some would say, but not all, only some. And you know what? I'm just here to talk. I have been an internet fanboy since I could remember. I have been online and plugged in since the age of like 9. So it is an honor to be here always. And yeah, so sort of I'm really into pop culture. I read sometimes. Some would say I have my finger on the pulse. Only some, but not all. Anywho, and I thought I would come on here on youtube.com and speak truth. Speak the truth. I am recording this at like 10 p.m. and I think I really want to record these at nighttime. So I'm still working on a title for this series. This is just episode 1 of what will be a long-lasting online, just me expanding my digital footprint so employers in the future won't hire me, is really what I'm doing right here, right now in front of you with this microphone. So I hope you enjoy my Christmas tree back here. I really love her. She's so magical, beautiful. She's really giving you the holiday spirit. OMG, wait, I didn't turn on. Wait 1 second. There's also lights back there, if you couldn't tell. So yeah, Christmas, it's obviously Christmas time. That's not what we're talking about this episode, but maybe come back in a week or two and we'll talk about Christmas. Who knows, honestly. I may start talking about the world wars or like history or like what I saw on TikTok this morning. Really, the world is my oyster. On some Addison Rae kind of vibe, if you know what I mean. But yeah, actually, I thought for this show, I would just kind of go based off statements that I say to myself all the time. While in preparation for this, our first encounter together as one, I thought I would talk about how being 24 years old is actually a prison. This is actually for all of my 2000s babies out there. If you're born in the year 2000, we do it best. I feel like there's a bunch of us that were born in the year 2000. Like, I don't know what was in the air. Like, it was that if you know what I'm saying. Can't say it on here. Cannot say it on here. I don't know. Like, every time I meet someone, they're like 24 years old. But that's just me making the assumption that everyone I meet is my age, which is something that I do a lot. especially being in grad school, so many people are older than me, but yet I'm always making the assumption that people are my age. And then when they're not my age, I'm like shocked. I'm like, what do you mean you're not 24? What do you mean you're like 27, 28? Like, like no, like we're supposed to be the same age. Um, but I think that being 24 is actually a curse, right? It's an evil prophecy that we must fulfill. Um, just because I feel like 24 is like the first year that you're in your mid 20s, right? Because I feel like, because I said it before, like early 20s, that's like 20 to like 23, you're like early 20s, you're like baby 20, right? Because I feel like 20 doesn't even count. Like when you're 20 years old, you're still a teenager. Like that's not, because you can't do anything, right? And then you turn 21, right? And you're like, woo, I'm having a ball. I'm having a great time. 22, you're hot, right? 22, you're all about being sexy, hot, youthful. I was just 21, now I'm 22, bitch. You're in your Taylor Swift era, right? You're like, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. 23 comes and things start to get spooky, right? You're having your Michael Jordan year. Is that what it is? I just know that one song by Miley Cyrus where she's like, I'm in the club, high up with some shades on, tied it up, mini skirt with my J's on. That's 23. And then 24 comes around, and all of a sudden you're an adult. All of a sudden, it's reality comes knocking on your bedroom door, right? All of a sudden, 24, that sounds a little bit too grown up for me. That sounds a little bit too adult. And it only gets worse, because then you hit 25, frontal lobe develops. Oh shit, actually, I've been committing tax fraud. You see what I'm saying? The dots start to connect. Things start to come together in a spooky, scary, evil sort of way. Um, so yeah, so then like your mid 20s are like 24, 25, 26. And then your late 20s are your Saturn return years, which is like 27, 28, 29. It's a perfect science, I think. And I think it's a pretty well like understood sort of like brackets of age. Um, and I just turned 24 back in May, so I've only been 24 for like 6 months, give or take a couple days. I don't really know. And 24 is a prison, let me tell you, because I fear that so many people at my age are doing different things, right? Like when you're 21, everyone is on the same boat for the most part, right? Like you're all kind of like young, mostly in college, still young, hanging out with your friends, not really doing much. But then when you're 24 and you do those things, you feel kind of wrong. Because I know some 24-year-olds that are like married and have a kid. I know some 24-year-olds that are like pursuing like getting like becoming doctors or like starting businesses or like settling down, trying to buy a home, family planning, if you will. People like me who are like finishing up grad school and don't really know what the frick is going on at any given time. And I fear that it's just like the variation on what you could be doing as a 24-year-old is too wide, right? It's too large. It's too unpredictable. I don't like it. It's a bit sinister. Like, and that's why I fear that like your mid 20s, like it's a free for all, right? There's no support. There's no emotional support from your brothers and sisters who are your age. Because what do you mean you have a baby on the way and you're married and you're buying a house? I had to sit today. Well, actually today I went to Trader Joe's and I had to make the active choice to not buy holiday snacks because it would have put me over. Right? I would have gone bankrupt at that Trader Joe's today. And I had to make the decision to put down all those sweet treats. And you're over here buying a house? No. Incorrect. That's the button. The button. And you're all going to jail. You're all going to jail. I just do not think that's right. And sponsored by Waterloo. Let's see, where are we on time? Perfect. Anywho, going on a tangent about Trader Joe's actually today, I made the mistake of shopping at the Berkeley Trader Joe's. Now, for all my UC Berkeley students out there, you know which Trader Joe's I'm talking about. You know the one I'm talking about. The spooky one, right? Off. Is it Shattuck? I don't really know. It's not Telegraph. Or maybe it is. It's not. I don't know my streets. Sorry. I don't drive. One thing about me, I don't drive. One thing about me is I don't drive. No, I went to Trader Joe's today and I thought that it would be a bit deserted since people are going home for the holidays, but I was mistaken. I was in there at around 6. No. I was in there like I got there like around 5. Yeah, like 5 p.m. And it was packed. It was World War III in the Trader Joe's near Berkeley. Well, near the Berkeley campus. By mistake. And, I just have a bone to pick. I have several bones to pick with Trader Joe's. I went there a day before Thanksgiving, and they were all sold out of soup. And who is buying all the soup before Thanksgiving? I don't understand, but I couldn't eat any solid food because I had my wisdom teeth taken out. And I was just heartbroken. I was heavily medicated at the Trader Joe's, heartbroken that I couldn't buy soup after my wisdom tooth removal surgery. Boom. That's a sentence, bitch. Anyways, I was at the Trader Joe's today trying to buy the essentials, and I think we've lost the plot of what it means to go to Trader Joe's, because the way that people in that store move, like you would think that the world is like actively coming to an end. And I know the end is near, right? But we can still be civilized in the Trader Joe's. We don't have to move frantically about the store. The store's already small enough, right? We don't need people running around like the end is coming and you're doomsday prepping. At the Trader Joe's, mind you, Trader Joe's is not the place you want to doomsday prep in, right? You want to go to the Costco. You want to go to like, oh my God, like the Home Depot or something. I don't know. But I feel like the last place you want to buy your doomsday meals is Trader Joe's, because you buy that bread from there and it goes bad within like maybe 15 hours. Like the one thing about Trader Joe's bread is that it's going to go bad on the ride home. On the train ride home, your Trader Joe's bread that you paid $5 for is going to go bad. So like, what are we doing? Like, literally, Trader Joe's Hawaii theme, right? You want to go in there, you want to be relaxed. You want to browse, right? You want to take the time to stop and read what you're about to purchase. But I felt like I was standing in the frozen section of Trader Joe's trying to decipher what I wanted to eat for the next couple days, right? So, I take my time, I walk, I look, right? I have my AirPods in and I'm looking. Right, I'm taking my time, really considering my options, and I just feel a presence, right, around me of like anxiety. People are anxious. They're waiting for you to move. They're just stalking your every move, right? And I don't appreciate that, because one thing about me is I won't move. I'm a Taurus man. I'm gonna stand there firmly in my spot, and I'm gonna read these ingredients. And you're going to wait, right? Because I'm not rushing you, right? If I look and I see someone making a decision, I'll come back, I'll be like, okay, I'll look at something else. I'll go over here. I'll look at this. And then when they move, I'll go. I'm not just standing in front of them. Like, are you going to move? Can I, do you mind? Have some decorum. right? It's like what even is going on anymore? But honestly, I feel like people have lost it. There is no more decorum. It's actually a free for all out here. That's actually like one thing about living in the Bay Area is that like people here move faster than people in SoCal, right? Like I'm a California boy. I feel like I'm Mr. California. Like I know everything about the state. And before I moved here, I lived in Southern California. And I felt like every time I went to a Trader Joe's down there, the vibe is always more calm, right? People are like sort of moving with that sort of ease, if you will. They're running on island time down in LA, right? Over here in San Francisco, it's like rush hour, right? And I don't understand. There's actually a lot of comparisons I could make between LA and San Francisco, and I will one day, just not right here, right now, because I'm not prepared for that conversation. So yeah, I think we need to install some sort of law and order into Trader Joe's across America, or I guess across the Bay Area. Um, it's a very unserious town up here. Very unserious people, and I just we need to take we need to take a break. We need to take a break. Moving on to my next topic, because I can't just sit here and talk about Trader Joe's forever. That would be a disservice to you. But really, it's what I want to do. We I have spent the entire day today online because I'm filming this on December 9th. And if you have gone on the internet today at all, you would have seen, right, our new obsession with this Italian American man who is sort of propelling us into the future, if you will, by taking out our evil corporate overlords. And, you know, as a journalist, I have to say that there's a story here, right? There's definitely a story here. And it involves a lot of layers, guys. It's very complicated. It's a very complicated story with a lot of layers. And it's very multifaceted, I would say. Yes, yes. And, you know, I think it does mark parallels to many things in the culture right now, right? And it does help that he's very hot. What? It just does. I think bringing back, you know, actually, I've been saying this for a while now, and I think America needs to bring sexy back. Like, I wholeheartedly agree that we as Americans need to focus on bringing back sexy people into the spotlight. Read that back with me. Bringing back sexy people into the spotlight. Why did JFK win his presidency? Because he was hot, right? You want Americans to be engaged. Let them vote for hot people. The future of politics is in the beauty of it all, right? I feel like right now America is low-key in its flop era, but it's been in its America has been deep in its flop era, right? Since 1776. That better be right, or I'm gonna look really dumb. um, so, yeah, here are my thoughts. Actually, you want to know my thoughts on the CEO? I think there's something there, guys. There's something there. I'm not 100% sure that it's the guy that they caught, but this actually brings me to something completely unrelated, but it is the Gen Z digital footprint, and that's actually what I want to talk about here. The fact that the internet found this man's Goodreads, his Instagram, they found Facebook posts from when he was like 12, talking about his fish dying or something. Like, that is insane. That is crazy. Because think about it this way. Like, we have been online for so long, right? That, like, there's just so many different versions of ourselves that live on the internet at the same time, right? Like, things that I made when I was a child. Mind you, I've done a pretty good job of erasing child me off the internet, but there's still some lingering, artifacts out there, and it's scary, right? Things that like accounts that I don't have access to anymore that are still public, and it's just kind of like, wow, like if I ever become semi someone off doing anything in my life, I have to worry, right, that a picture of me in middle school is gonna float around the internet, and people are gonna laugh at me. They're gonna call me names. They're gonna bully me. I'm gonna be right back in middle school again. And I just I feel like, could you imagine if the guy who took out what's his name? I want to say RFK Jr., but I know it's not RFK Jr. It's just John F. Kennedy. I'm sorry. Could you imagine if the guy that took out Kennedy, right, like back in the day when he did it, if people were like going around and being like, oh, in middle school, the killer, like, he was really into like this cartoon, right? And oh, actually, I knew him and he was DL. Like, that just it wasn't happening. People just had to sit and linger, and they had to think, right? And they had to sort of come up with their own narratives. But now we live in a digital age, and the amount of fan cams I have seen for this man within the past 5 hours is actually mind-boggling. Could you imagine? He really is the people's princess. Like, people are coming around, and they're gonna free him. I think he's gonna never be. I don't. People are gonna put money in his books. I think he can be the next Gypsy Rose. People turned on Gypsy Rose pretty quickly, actually. So I don't know. That is the thing of the internet. You're popular today. You're the world famous CEO, taker outer, and then tomorrow someone could find a tweet of you saying something bad about Ariana Grande, and then you're canceled. So, guys, that's why you always have to cherish the present moment, because you never know when someone on Stan Twitter is going to come and ruin your entire life. And I always say that. I literally always say that you have to be brave in these sort of situations. But yeah, I honestly, guys, I'm being for real here. I would hate to be sort of shot into stardom like that. I think going from everyone not knowing your name to everyone knowing who you are for any reason, right, is actually one of my biggest nightmares. Because, oh my God, the thought of being perceived by that many people at one time, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's evil, guys. It's evil. Truly wicked. But yeah, honestly, I think this is a wake-up call to people that you should, if you haven't already, go clear your online presence. I like to say anything before 2020 has to go. You've done your big one and you have to go. You're being let go. You're being terminated. You have to go. Oh, I actually really want to talk about something for the first sort of episode of this, whatever this becomes. I wanted to talk about Wicked, right? Because Wicked has changed my life. So I am not a fan of musicals. I think they're a little bit annoying. Sue me, I'm not that kind of gay. I'm sorry. I'm not even gay at all. Um, but I went down to my local um Almo Draft House. Almo Draft House, is that how you say that? I actually don't know how to say the name of that movie theater, and I'm afraid that they're gonna come for me because the atmosphere in there is very um hostile, I would say the least. It's very aggressive. It's very just there's just a sinister energy in those movie theaters. And but anywho, I went to the one in San Francisco to watch Wicked. And I went because Miss Ariana Grande was in the movie, and one thing about me, I'm an Arianator. Yup, I love air. And I just really wanted to see a performance, right? Like, the only acting thing I've seen her in, Miss Grande, was Victorious and then Scream Queens and Don't Look Up, which I think is all her acting credits. There might be something in between, but and I know she started on Broadway, so but I haven't seen any of that, obviously. But I wanted to go see her because I love the outfits. I'm a really big fan of the outfits in the trailer, and I just wanted to go, oh, whoa, 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 in person. But the movie theater that I went to go see this movie in, right, was filled with people. It was like a pretty big theater, so there's a lot of people in there. And people were clapping after every single song. Now, I'm not much of a clapper, right? Like people who clap when the plane lands, I don't really understand. Like, if the flight was bumpy and we almost died, then maybe I will give, a round of applause or two, right? I'll be on the floor crying. But if it's just like a flight that's like only like an hour long, I am not clapping when that plane lands, right? If the food wasn't free, there wasn't even a meal service, I'm not clapping when that plane lands. I'm actually gonna put my thumbs. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna be like, actually, you could have drove this plane better, right? And but that's besides the point. People in this movie theater were clapping after every single song, and like basically after every single scene, like they were just clapping, right? And I'm like, am I being punked? Is Miss Grande in this theater right now? Is she sitting in the front row? Like, why are we clapping, right? It's supposed to be no talking at the movie theater. I think they should have a sign that says no clapping. Like, I appreciate the sentiment, but I think we should leave the clapping alone. Like, we shouldn't bring clapping into movie theaters. Just how I think we shouldn't be having full course meals in movie theaters. I think it's wrong. It's inappropriate time and place, right? Why am I sitting down at the movie theater to watch Wicked and people around me are having full course dinners, right? You're eating burgers, right? And it's just like the room becomes filled with like, now in my head, I'm at the Cheesecake Factory, right? I'm not at the movie theater anymore, right? I'm somewhere else. I'm at a restaurant now, right? And I just feel like we should stick to the basics, right? We should stick to the rivers and the lakes that we're used to, and we shouldn't be going to movie theaters to order a 3-course meal. It is just not the time. Alcohol, different story, right? You want to have a beer at the movie theater? Go ahead, right? You want to have a nice fancy cocktail? Why not? It's a beverage. I think it's the American way to go into a movie theater and order a giant bucket of popcorn that you're not going to eat and the world's largest soda, right? And that is the iconic meal, right? You can add maybe like a nacho, but that's pushing it. A candy, right? You want to do a sour candy, but yeah, like why are you having like hot honey chicken tenders, fries? Like what is going on, right? Like why is your plate next to me sizzling? Why did you order the sizzling fajitas at the movie theater? Like what are you trying to prove here? Like what is going on that you need to be having a full course meal while watching this movie? Because how are you going to do that comfortably? Right? You're focused on the food, but then you're focused on this, on like the picture in front of you. It's just too much. It's too much, right? We've crossed a line. We've crossed a line. I think we have to go back, or else it's never going to be the same. Um, but anywho, back to the topic at hand. Wicked actually changed my life. I did not know a single thing about this movie until, or the Wicked like musical or anything, until like a week before I went to go watch the movie, because my friends were educating me on the lore of Wicked, because the lore is crazy, right? The background, like the setup, the book, the characters, like it is just an insane like story, right? And I thought like Wicked was like this fun. I mean, before I knew anything about it, I thought it was like this fun little musical where people just dance and like the girl's like, I'm popular and you're not. And I thought it was like a story about like overcoming bullying. Not a story about how society puts us down. Um, and yeah, I'm very excited. Everyone's performances in it was so good. I I'm a really big fan of Boeing Yang, and even though he was only in it for like 5 minutes, those 5 minutes I cherished for life. I think he's the funniest person ever, and truly an inspiration of mine. But I wish he had more screen time, but it's okay. Ariana Grande was great in it. Cynthia Rivio was great in it. And honestly, since the movie came out, guys, I'm not kidding. I have been holding so much space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity. Like, it is kind of crazy, actually, how much space I've been holding for that movie. And you know who I feel like also has been holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity? The CEO on a library. I feel like he has been holding a lot of space recently in his heart, and some would say that coming up, he's going to hold even more space federally in a cell. I just sort of want to wrap this first episode up with thank yous and gratitudes, and I'm actually really excited to start posting on here and sort of develop my voice and the things that I want to talk about and the topics. And I feel like this is going to be a really good journey for me to go on creatively. And also I just love being able to share my opinions and sort of what I think is interesting in the culture. But yeah, this is just a little taste of my brain, and trust me, I could keep talking for hours, but I won't do that. If you want to see me again, if you want to know what I'm up to, you can follow me on TikTok, on Instagram. I'm on Bluesky. TikTok might be dead in a month, so subscribe on here. I eventually want to put these out in audio form and post them on like Spotify and wherever people listen to podcasts, but that probably won't come for a while until I figure this out more like seriously. But I think YouTube is such a good platform for these sort of videos and sort of level of content. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Merry almost Christmas. I will see you next week. Promptly and on time, of course. And until then, keep an eye out always. And I'll see ya. I'll catch you later. Oh.